What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy CamATL, and welcome back to another I almost forgot. I almost said MLB NFL video covering this Buffalo and Rams game for Thursday night. It is Wednesday today. I like to come in about a day before, make sure I'm able to take some time to really research the slate and stuff like that. Which is something. Speaking of that, something that I've noticed is that there's too many people who, instead of being in this game these days to try to help people, right? Take the time you need to really research it, really be prepared, and then drop a video to really help people. And there's more of like, let me just create a video and just kind of babble about random shit. That way I get some views and I can get my video out before everybody else. It's more of a the views make me feel better about myself thing than it is a really I'm here to help people thing. And it's annoying because at the end of the day, I mean, you got to spend more time on this shit, man. The videos are just fucking. The quality of videos is going downhill, and people are just trying to rush them out to get views, and it makes no fucking sense. So if I get 10 views on this video, I'm incredibly happy because I came in prepared for this one. All right, and I'm excited for this showdown slate because it's the first slate of the NFL season, and this is a great game, man. It's probably the best. It's probably going to end up being the best game of the week. I mean, this game is nice. All right, this is a big time matchup here. So we're gonna go over it. I'm gonna plug in like three core guys that I really like on this slate that I'm gonna have no matter what happens, and then we're gonna talk about the different options that you could play this. So first and foremost, you guys know with Showdown, one of the most important things, and greenlightdfs.com, by the way, join the squad. The NFL player prop tool is balling. I have a good amount of price picks already set in, so make sure you go check that out. Also, you can look on my Twitter. I have a link for Underdog. You can deposit and get a $100 match over on Underdog as well. I'm going to be posting plays on the NFL Access page this week for Underdog as well, where we find great value over there too. So definitely take advantage of that as well. All right, let's get it. So first things first, when it comes to a showdown, you want to kind of try to imagine what the game strip's going to be like. And in this one, it's hard to imagine anything other than just a nail biter. Both sides are just great. Defensively, offensively, both sides are just good. I mean, the Rams offensively, powerhouse. Buffalo offensively, powerhouse. Defensively, Buffalo powerhouse. Rams powerhouse. This is just like both of these teams are two of the best teams in the league. I mean, this game is going to be a big one. Now, both teams are good defensively. Both teams tend to be a little better, it seems like, versus the run. So I don't have as much interest as in like the Cam Akers, which I do like Cam Akers. But I don't have a ton of interest in like the Cam Akers, Singletary, those type of guys, just because of how I'm expecting this game script to go and how tough it might be to run in this game. I think it's going to be more of a shootout. I think Josh Allen, Matthew Stafford are going to be airing this thing out, and it's going to be some interesting ways that you could play this. So, with that being said, let's talk about my favorite play on the slate. Now, almost every single showdown slate, I like to get at least one quarterback, right? I like to make sure I at least get exposure to one quarterback, especially in a situation where Josh Allen's playing and he's got the ability to get such a solid floor with his feet in general. If he's not finding anything through the air, he'll be able to get you a solid floor on the ground, period. So when it comes to overall score of the day, Josh Allen should probably be in that number one lineup of the night. Okay, Matthew Stafford can do a lot with his arm. Don't get me wrong, but he's not going to be running around too much. So Josh Allen is the guy that I am prioritizing. I'm making sure I get into my lineups and then I find the value where I can to make it happen. Now, putting Josh Allen, let's go ahead and take him off real quick. Putting Josh Allen at captain really is going to make you tight. All right, that remains 6,400 remaining per player. It really makes things a little bit tight. Like, because I mean, you got to get Cooper as well. So let's go Josh Allen, Cooper Kupp. You got to get Cooper, you got to get Allen. These guys are priority guys. For the Rams, you know Odell Beckham, no Van Jefferson. They added in a few guys like Allen Robinson, who I absolutely love, which is another guy that I actually want to put into the core today because this is, remember, this is PPR format. on DraftKings. Okay, so you want guys who can really catch passes, and I'm expecting Allen Robinson to get a good amount of looks here. And he's only 6'2", which feels good to me. Now, Allen Robinson is one of those guys that you can consider putting at captain. Let's see. So Allen Robinson's 6'2" at the flex. At captain, Allen Robinson is 9'3". Allen Robinson, don't forget, is a talented wide receiver. He has had some bad luck with the quarterbacks that he has throwing him the ball, but this year that is no longer the case. So Allen Robinson should really shine here. We saw the success that Odell Beckham had last year in that position he was in. I think it's going to be the same type of thing. Allen Robinson is really going to get some good looks, good red zone looks for sure. Allen Robinson is a solid talent. We all know that, and definitely take advantage of him. Allen Robinson at captain is one way that you can go. Um, it's perfectly fine. I completely understand it. If you want to run Allen Robinson at captain, it makes sense because of the way this game is going to go. I mean, you're just going to have a lot of throwing here, and you got to expect the attention of the Buffalo defense to be trying to slow down Cooper Kupp, and that should open things up for Allen Robinson. So Allen Robinson is interesting as a captain option. Obviously, you can go Josh Allen and Cooper Kupp, but you're just going to be spending a good amount of money there. It's not going to leave you too much there. Let's see. Gabe Davis is 10-8 at captain. That's not happening. I do think Gabe is going to have a solid game, but I don't think he's 10-8 captain worthy. You've got Tyler Higbee that you could put at captain at 8-4, who's interesting, I guess. One of the value plays that I want to go with today, well, that I want to talk about. Let's go ahead and put Allen Robinson back in, because when it comes to the core guys that I really love, that are going to still allow you to have money remaining to be able to do some things, is Josh Allen, Cooper Kupp, and Allen Robinson. With it being PPR, Kupp and Allen Robinson, I'm expecting to get a good amount of targets here. And these two guys are going to be my focal points. With the Rams, probably, I mean, I would expect it's hard to imagine which team's going to be down. You really don't know. It could go either way here. Vegas expects the Rams to be down by 2, I believe. So it's a solid spot here for the Rams receivers, and the Rams have that situation where they're without Odell Beckham that they had last year. They're without Van Jefferson right now, so that should definitely open some things up here. All right. Oh, also Robert Woods also gone. You know what I mean? I almost blanked on even mentioning Robert Woods also gone. So there's just a good target share available out there for these guys. All right. So next up, now that we've got our core, and like I said, at captain, you can go with any of these three guys, but Allen Robinson is probably preferred because these two guys are really going to take away a majority of your money. Now, when we talk value on this slate, short point per salary, Khalil Shakir is somebody who people have actually compared to Cooper Kupp, which I think, I mean, that's just ridiculous. But, I mean, it's a little early, don't you think? But Khalil Shakir is an interesting-ish option that could be solid. Now, one of the value plays I really, really like on this slate is Isaiah McKenzie that I really want to highlight. Isaiah McKenzie is going to be Buffalo's starting slot receiver. Now, this is a space where this could really go fantastic for Isaiah here. You have to expect the attention being on Diggs, who I'm going to talk about in a second, actually, because that's an important guy we need to focus on real quick. But Isaiah McKenzie, with the Rams defense most likely, or Jalen Ramsey most likely shadowing Diggs. And if he doesn't shadow, then cool. But if he shadows, Diggs is going to have a rough-ish time. But we'll talk about that. But that'll definitely open up even more for Isaiah McKenzie. Isaiah McKenzie is 2-4, expected to be the starting slot receiver for Buffalo. This is the guy that I love for value today. Let's look at if we put him at captain. If you put Isaiah McKenzie at captain, he's only 3-6. The things that opens up for you. You might even be able to run back like a Matthew Stafford and something in this situation. So Isaiah McKenzie really is interesting and really opens things up at the captain position that can definitely open things up for that lineup to make you be able to get all those studs in. All right. Another value I'm going to talk about is James Cook for Buffalo. Now the situation is a rough one for Buffalo when it comes to running backs. Okay, it's going to be like a three-headed running back situation here in Buffalo majority of the year. It's going to be very rare that we want any exposure to any of these guys, but James Cook is a guy who's going to be a part of that at only 2-8. He is an option. He is a value option that you could definitely roll with. He's a young guy. He could get exposure in the pass game as well. James Cook at 2.8 is definitely an interesting spot here. If he's going to be getting a decent amount of touches split among the three of them. It's the matchup's not fantastic, but with him definitely getting some work and at 2.8, that's definitely an interesting spot for him for sure. So Isaiah McKenzie, James Cook, Khalil Shakir, these guys are interesting options. I talked for a second about Khalil. Khalil was great grades out as a fantastic receiver out of college. This dude, like I said, there were people comparing him to a Cooper Cup type of receiver. If that is the case, that this guy's got definite potential. Now, we don't know the snap count. We don't know how much usage in this offense he's going to get, all that type of stuff. We don't know what to expect here, and I'm not expecting much. I wouldn't put too much into Khalil Shakir, but he is a talented guy that maybe you should keep an eye on, that in the future one day he starts making an impact. But right now, not expecting too much of one. So Isaiah McKenzie and James Cook's pretty much the cheapest guy range I'm trying to go down to. That 2.8, 2.4, that's pretty much what I'm trying to go down to for value. So you work that out. James Cook, I don't really care about captain because he's not going to get a ton in the pass game, and this is PPR DK. I prefer Isaiah McKenzie at captain, or Allen Robinson. Probably one of those two guys is definitely interesting. Now, let's talk about our boy. Let's talk about Stephon Diggs, man, because this is interesting. All right. Stephon Diggs is an elite receiver, one of the best receivers in the entire league. He's going to get his. It doesn't matter if Ramsey shadows him or not. The matchup is a tough one for Stephon with Jalen Ramsey if Jalen Ramsey does, in fact, shadow him. It is a tough one on paper. But Stephon Diggs is going to get his. He gets a solid target share in this offense. Josh Allen and him have a solid rapport. I could see him getting in the end zone for sure. I believe he's got like the third highest in Vegas. He's got like the third highest probability in this game in general to get in the end zone. I think it's Cam Akers, Stephon Diggs up at like the top area of guys who are expected to get touchdowns if you look at the Vegas odds. Stephon Diggs, something tells me he has a solid game here. All right, we know Jalen Ramsey has some chinks in his armor at times, and people can take advantage of him. Stephon Diggs is just a absolute monster, and it feels like he's a little too cheap for me in a PPR situation in a shootout matchup. You know what I mean? Regardless of who's going to be on him, it just seems a little too cheap for me. He's 9K. All right, he is, how much is that? Over 3,000 less than Cooper Kupp, and he is an elite wide receiver. Cooper Kupp's obviously better, but Stephon Diggs is amazing. So Stephon Diggs is 13.5 at captain. Stafford 16.2. Cooper Kupp 18.6. Josh Allen 18. So Stephon Diggs is somebody I have played with. Let me put my other guys back in. Stephon Diggs is somebody I have played with at that captain position because he is an elite wide receiver. It's PPR format. He could get in the end zone. He could get in the end zone twice. Will he? Probably not, but he could. The connection between Diggs and Kupp is super duper strong. The talent of Diggs is legit enough to where I'm not too worried about the matchup too much. And when it comes to elite players in general on this slate, Stephon Diggs is the cheaper of the bunch that you would want to get exposure to in this format. Okay? Diggs, like I said, he's 9K at flex and 13.5 at captain. So I have definitely played with some scenarios having Diggs at flex and at captain. I definitely could see myself playing Diggs. I wanted to mention Diggs because of the format. I understand that the matchup is rough. And honestly, guys, you know how it is. It's a showdown slate. We only have one game. Where you can be different is key. Now, at the end of the day, if it's looking like Stephon Diggs, or if people are going to shy away from Stephon Diggs because Jalen Ramsey's shadowing him, then I'm willing to take shots at him. You know what I mean? Because it's one game. If Stephon Diggs can beat him on a deep route once, get a nice touchdown that way, and just get little tic-tac receptions as this game is competitive, and in a situation like this, Stephon's going to get his targets. He's going to, you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, in a showdown slate, like I said, you got to try to get different where you can, and there's not a whole bunch of ways to do that. Stephon Diggs is somebody, because of the matchup, his ownership might be lower than it should be, and I'm willing to take shots on him, whether captain or flex. All right? So, my favorite captain options: Allen Robinson, Stephon Diggs, or taking that value of Isaiah McKenzie at captain. Those are my favorite like three captain options that I'm really liking. I've noticed so far that putting Cup there, putting Allen there, putting Stafford there, it's just spending too much money. You know what I mean? It's just spending too much money, and I haven't really loved what I've been able to make with those guys there. So, repeating that again, we got Isaiah McKenzie as a cheap captain option. He's 3 something starting slot receiver for Buffalo. Stephon Diggs, regardless of matchup, dude's a stud in a competitive game. Plain and simple, his talent level's too high for the price he is in this slate. And if he's going to be low owned, we want that. All right, Allen Robinson, and that's it. So Stephon Diggs, Isaiah McKenzie, Allen Robinson is my main guys I like for captain. And then no matter what, I'm not letting myself get off of Cooper Kupp or Josh Allen. These are two guys that are just going to be too big of focal points in this game, and I want both of them. Plain and simple. I'll get different where else I can. You know what I mean? So good luck, everybody. GreenlightDFS.com. Join the squad. I'll be looking more at the NFL player prop tool, which you could also do. Get your membership. Make sure you get tonight's slate in. And I mean tomorrow's slate in, and I'll be adding more player props as it goes along, as the player prop tool is, generating best value plays, and that's one of the key things that this player prop tool is going to really give you an edge on. The moment a player is out or a player gets a bump in any way, it will recognize that value and tell you that within seconds of it occurring. So that is the most key factor. Like if Price Picks makes a mistake and drops anybody at a situation where they shouldn't be dropping them at, then we will definitely be able to hop on it quicker than anyone. So definitely take advantage of that. All right. Good luck on this first slate, y'all. It's going to be a very good game. I'm very excited for this first game of the year. Let's get this money, man. Let's start it with a bang, and I'm out. Peace.